Benvenuto a tutti. Abbiamo visto solo tu. Perché? Io non so. Siamo in difesa dei brutti film.
Hey everybody, Sam Bowen here, and for our non-Italian speakers, welcome to In Defense of Bad Movies. Special guest introduction, Lauren Bowen.
Grazie.
Oh, I just assumed that was Sam.
I do a good Lauren. How's everyone doing today?
Good, how are you?
Good.
We'll leave you alone.
You know what? I took offense to Lauren's opening because we saw a really good movie.
And this is
You
America.
don't even know what I said.
Yeah, I know. I know Italian, okay?
Do you?
You ordered spaghetti or something, right?
Yeah. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Nice. So we got in the house, we got Laura King.
Hey, what's up?
We got Bobby Mattern.
Hello.
And we've got Lauren Bowen.
Buonasera, io mio marito.
Buenos dias or something.
Sì, grazie.
So, yeah, we watched a movie with Italian in it, which was called Only You.
I think Sam almost forgot the movie title.
I did totally forget the movie title.
It takes place in
movie?
Italy.
Italy.
That'll come up later. Laura, you defended this movie.
Yes.
And you like this movie.
Yes.
Okay.
All the way back from 1994.
1994, the year I graduated from high school. Were you guys born yet?
You were like 5, 6. What were you back then?
I was 9.
9
9.
years old?
9 years old.
Okay, so before we get into that movie, I'm gonna give you 30 seconds, Laura.
Ooh.
But here's the thing. I don't want just like, oh, this is a really sweet movie about two people who fall in love. When I want, say, an episode synopsis, I want an episode or a movie synopsis. I want the plot synopsis. I want to know what happened in this movie. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, and go.
Okay, Marisa Tomei, when she's younger, she gets, she plays Ouija and, tells her that she's going to marry a guy named Damon Bradley. And so, years later, she finds, his name and someone he calls. And then, anyway, just watch the movie. It's really good. And she's in the hunt for him. And then Robert Downey Jr. is really charming. Anyway, okay.
24. 25.
Do you want to edit your last words?
Bonnie Hunt is in it too.
You succincly covered the first hour of the movie, which this movie is approximately 6 hours long.
It's an hour and a half.
It's so long.
It's pretty long.
It
long.
takes
an hour-
forever to remember.
It's like an hour 48 or something like that. Which, doesn't it? Doesn't it?
No, actually, I thought it was pretty good pacing.
Okay. So,
By the way, 45 minutes until Robert Downey Jr. gets in. We'll talk about that later.
yeah. At least you had Bonnie Hunt.
Hello.
Thank goodness. It should be my Hunt's
Hello,
movie.
Marisa Tomei,
Let's all
too.
agree.
Yeah, it's actually a good
I
cast.
think it's like pretty like even with Bonnie Hunt though. I mean, it's not like based on her journey, but like it kind of parallels.
I do
think.
really appreciate that the movie, even though she is put upon and sadly used, like at least she gets a story. In every other movie where she or whatever the girlfriend is, like she's just there to support the lead. Like thank goodness she actually gets a bit of a journey herself.
Yeah, usually just the redhead friend who, the other friend that just disappears. Usually she's the only side friend that our heroine has. But yeah, she got two, the one throwaway and then Bonnie Hunt.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
The other redhead friend is just there to walk into doors and trip into fountains and cause scenes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I forgot that there was another friend.
Yeah.
Barely.
Elaine's roommate from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
So where should we start with this?
Let's start with like the weird sexual innuendo at the very beginning before we see that the kids are playing Ouija board.
The weird sexual innuendo?
I felt weird. Like,
Go on.
I felt weird.
Yeah, yes, please tell me.
We open in the movie like the camera panning through the house and you hear two young children like,
Oh,
push
yeah.
it. No, you push it. are you pushing it? And I'm like, it was like, I know what this is, but this is weird.
I wish my mind had gone there. It did not go there.
That movie did a double fake out too, because my mind did go there. I'm like, okay, they're obviously going for some sexual thing.
Brother and sister.
But then instead they opened it like a horror movie. That opening felt like a horror movie. They're playing with the Ouija board, and then it was kind of creepy with their candles flickering. And then not only that, but the scene ends with a fake 'em out scream that turns out to be a roller coaster. But you're like, that felt like a horror movie.
You wish it would have been a horror movie.
I wish it. Oh, of course I wish it would have been a horror movie.
If only they had called down like a demon beast that then fell in love with her, and that was Damon Bradley.
We'll get to the movie Wish we had seen in a little bit. But
if that monster's name had been Damon Bradley.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
Damon Bradley. Should have been all over
Damon
that.
Bradley.
And the kids were weirdly ADR'd. It felt uncomfortable. Like the teen boy had to voice change, and they needed to do pickups. But it was weird.
I don't believe that girl grew up to be Marisa Tomei either.
Oh, that's mean.
I'm not.
They had different hairstyles.
Ear styles?
Ear styles.
They
Also
were styling
hairstyles.
their ears differently?
They did. They were. Yes, indeed.
And a little bit of unibrow. But I guess, she's Italian, so.
Yeah, she's Italian from the East Coast.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Of course.
So what do you like about this movie, Laura?
Well, I saw this movie. I've seen this movie quite a bit. And,
I'm sorry.
I've seen it when I was younger. And then I don't know, there's something that's just really charming to me about it. Watching it now with a critical eye, of course I'm like, oh, they're going to hit on this and on this and on this. But I mean, like, it's a very 90s movie in terms of what they do, like in the airport. I mean, like, yes, you just have to, there's a suspension of disbelief in,
this movie is definitely pre 9/11.
Yes. We had a moment of that, like, how is she going straight to the gate? Hasn't she, like, waited for security an hour? I hope someone pulls out one of those big cell phones. And they did.
At least she didn't get onto the plane with somebody else's wallet.
That's true.
Anyway, so I really like Marisa Tomei's character and Robert Downey Jr. I think have really good chemistry in this movie. I'm guessing no one else agrees.
I don't disagree with that.
Actually, I thought they had decent chemistry.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no. Okay, I'm gonna totally disagree with that.
Okay.
Okay, we'll get there later.
Okay.
I know it was the script's fault versus them, but
They're I mean, we're by the time we're talking about Robert Downey Jr., we're like more than halfway through the movie. But no, I thought their like fumbling around through Italy overnight was really awkward to watch.
But how much of that was because there was no script and it's just us making moon eyes at each other and not talking about anything and doing
totally
awkward Gregory Peck impressions?
But also there was non-existent chemistry there. And then for the rest of the movie, Robert Downey Jr. just has to like scowl while she's bouncing off of other men.
Gosh, do we touch it now or do we like?
There's so much. No, we have to start at the beginning.
Okay, all right. I want to come to this.
Start unpacking
because there's plot twists, guys. There's a lot of plot twists.
And let me tell you that Bobby did not see this plot twist.
I didn't see any of them coming.
Really?
Yeah. I'll cop to that right now.
I did watch the preview and they gave it away in the preview, which they do that. I'm not going to get on my soapbox about previews, but in general they give too much away. And the plot twist I'm guessing you're thinking about, they did mention that in the trailer.
Preview? Do they?
Yeah. I recall that.
Oh, I totally did not watch the trailer. I'm glad. I think it might have added to my experience.
Yeah,
cool.
It's a fun twist, and it's the same thing right away.
I agree. Okay, so what now?
Where do we start? Oh my goodness, I want to dive right into it, but if we want to start back in Pittsburgh, we can start back in Pittsburgh. Like how Marisa Tomei is married to stereotypical Dr. Drip.
No, engaged.
Engaged to stereotypical Dr. Drip, and
And then, so when she's younger, she and her brother are playing Ouija, and she says, like, what's the name of the person I'm going to marry, or my soulmate or something.
Soulmate, yeah.
And it spells out Damon Bradley. And then, I guess a few days later, she's at a fair with her friends, and she goes to see a fortune teller, and the fortune teller tells her that Damon Bradley, and she's really freaked out with it. And then, like, 20 years later, 15 years later, 15 to 20 years later, she is now engaged to a podiatrist, a not a real doctor.
Gross.
And she is, she gets a phone call.
Yeah.
And she's kind of unsure about her engagement. She's hesitant to put on the ring.
Oh, no way.
She's big on the idea soulmate. And
his name is definitely not Damon Bradley.
Yes, definitely not Damon
we
Bradley.
Don't marry Dwayne's number one. If Dwayne's not black, you don't marry him. That's the rule.
And
I'm glad you amended it because there are a lot of black Dwaynes, and if you would
you
have just
can
said
marry them,
like,
they're
don't,
fine.
yeah, just don't marry white Dwaynes.
Don't marry white Dwayne.
And anyway, so she gets a phone call, and it's for her fiance has forwarded his phone calls for his practice. So she has to answer it, and
because he's doing an emergency. What was the term?
Foot surgery.
What?
But it was like
foot surgery.
Oh, there was a certain thing
footectomy.
No, there was a certain. What was it? I wrote it down somewhere.
Footesis.
Damn it! And I'm stopping everything by doing this. Oh, a matrixectomy. I'm like, why would they just shove that word?
Taking a mother out of your foot.
No.
Cutting your mother out of your foot.
It had to do with like the nail bed or matrix or something like that. But why? I don't know. It was a really technical word to just
It sounded really severe.
To make it sound like a real job, because the first reaction is like, what emergency surgery does a foot doctor have to do? You throw in Latin and ectomy.
I guess, yeah.
I zoned out where he's introduced as a podiatrist, and I only got that he was a doctor. And so when they said matrixectomy, I was like, oh, he must be like a really serious... Not that... Listen, podiatry is awesome. I don't mean to disparage podiatry, but I figured like, oh, this is like life-threatening surgery that's going on right now.
It could be.
No.
Wow, you were throwing down the gauntlet.
Yeah. But, oh yeah.
But
so anyway.
Yeah, she gets a phone call from a patient of her.
There's a severe time jump too, right? Like, did I miss that
I think so.
explanation?
I need to believe that that's
because
the case.
She sits down with her friends and it says like, hey girls, I'm engaged.
Hey girls, I'm engaged. Then they're an engagement party, and then they're 10 days before the wedding.
Yeah.
I think that there is a time lapse between those scenes.
So another flaw that we often see in movies is bad time.
Yeah.
Evolution.
Maybe with like a hairstyle change or something.
And also, what do we think has happened to Marissa this way? I feel like what this movie fails to do is explain why Dwayne is there. Like, she believed in soulmates and fate and all that.
Did she give up on it?
And we never have a moment where she touches on like, no, Dwayne's great and like, I can't dream forever. Mm-hmm. Like, she just ends up with the most boring, like they don't seem to have any kind of anything between them.
I'm surprised that Dwayne even makes an appearance in this movie.
He shouldn't.
He barely
at all.
does.
And he's like,
yeah. No, that's all. Yeah, I was agreeing.
To that, and he's just the he's serving the purpose for the movie, but I think it's a shame he's there because he's just pointless and not good, but not bad enough for us not to feel terrible for him that she's running away 10 days before the wedding.
Now that phone call. Mm-hmm. She gets this phone call from Damon Bradley.
And she's surprised, it's kind of like jolts her.
That really sounded like Robert Downey Jr. on the phone.
It really did.
I go back. I don't know if it was.
I could swear it was. We got a 48-hour rental, so we can.
Thank goodness.
I have the DVD too, guys.
Oh, okay, good. So all our bases are covered.
I have it on Blu-ray. So.
I committed to memory, so, it's a great movie. Anyway, go on.
Anyway, and then so she travels to Italy because he's on his way to Italy and to find him, and so. Also,
in this time, we met Bonnie Hunt's husband, who is like.
Is he a nice guy? I don't know if they made that clear. Like,
he is like a less emotionally sensitive Stanley Kowalski. He is just the worst. He should be wearing a wife beater the entire movie.
He is absolutely like. All the men in the film, like maybe RDJ accepted, like everyone is a vehicle for the women's life and change because they're all just stereotypes of horrible.
Yeah.
He's gonna be late, so she needs to get there and get all the food for the polka party with his buddies. Like, it's so...
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, so like, I rolled my eyes during that scene, but I actually thought it was kind of... I didn't expect Bonnie Hunt to then totally tell him off, but then go anyway. Like, that was kind of an interesting layer to her character.
She's fun. I love that she goes, even though, like, when they're having the drama and Marisa Tomei is freaking out over the ugly dress that she has to wear from her fiance's family. Yeah. And, like, Bonnie Hunt breaks down crying in front of her. She seems very annoyed. Like, what's wrong?
Wait.
Like, what is happening with your friend? Her marriage is falling apart, you whiny bee. Like,
back to taking care of the poker party.
Oh, yeah.
Is that where she went? Because I thought she told him, no, I'm not going to go. And then she did leave Marisa Tomei's place. I kind of thought she was going to some third location.
Oh, I got the impression that she was going to go in.
I guess, where else would she go? But
yeah, she I got the impression she caved in.
Okay.
Yeah, that was kind of...
I believe you.
Which is why she stole his credit card and ran away to Italy with her
Italy.
friend.
Was there any indication that that he was cheating on her, aside from her?
Just
No.
Bonnie Hunt's
Just her
declarations.
suggestion, as if that was the only reason to leave him. As if him disrespecting you
Yeah.
and not appreciating you was not sufficient enough of a reason. It has to be that he's cheating on her. That was an unfortunate conclusion. Like, he couldn't just be, I'm sick of him, he doesn't care about me.
Okay.
Well, I do think that in the years since 1994 that women have gained a lot more power in movies. So
It's true. We do forget.
Yeah.
Like, she's surprisingly powerful for the
Yeah.
for the 90s.
What's the name of that test? The
The
Bechdel
Bechdel test, which this movie does not pass.
No.
It doesn't.
Even
Is
a little
there
bit.
one scene?
There's
Yeah.
so much, and there's so much time of just two women together.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely always about boys.
They could be talking about the food or the coffee or anything.
At one
in
time, they
Italy.
complained that she didn't get enough gas.
That's
and
right,
that's
yeah. And
true.
arguing over metric versus...
But that's because they're girls, so they don't know how to drive.
Well, they needed a guy there.
So they jump on the plane. Marisa Tomei hasn't taken the dress off, so they lug that damn ugly thing
Yeah.
all around Italy.
That dress goes from like a point where I'm like, oh yeah, that does suck that you're being forced into wearing this dress to like, dude, you're not respecting a family wedding dress at all. Like, take you
that
have
off.
a bag of clothes. Why don't you just take it off?
Whip it off and give it to Siobhan, and she'll go like put it somewhere. Your
I
redhead
was
friend.
stressed out because the cover of this movie is her in a fountain wearing the wedding dress. And I'm like, I really don't want this scene to happen.
They just like trash the dress and their love. Like, yeah, screw Dwayne.
Like, there's a limit to where I'm like on board with this.
So, okay, they get to Italy.
They zoom to Venice, where
Venice, yes.
Damon Bradley's going to be, and they discover that he just got in that morning. And no, we are so sorry. He has just left. We are so sorry. When did he get there?
Right?
And they sneak into his room. He's got like a trash can full of trash and Butterfinger wrappers and half-eaten breakfast.
Yeah, I would assume that at some point we would get an explanation to why he's spending an hour apparently in a hotel and then just moving on to someplace else and just trashing it like that. No explanation for that. He's just...
It didn't take
I
any
don't
kind
know.
of time. I know. It was interesting.
Yeah. And then Faith is rude to the guy at the hotel.
I just looked at that note on my note.
Stereotypical rude to your ethnic concierge.
But let's face, I mean, in all fairness, he was very ethnic.
He was very ethnic. But guys, Venice is still really pretty.
Yeah.
It's still really exciting to see in the movie.
And they go to a hotel that's like Lifestyles of the Rich and the Famous, and Bonnie Hunt is pretty sure that Kathy Lee Crosby stayed there at one point.
Yeah.
Did anyone know Kathy Lee Crosby in 1994?
Who is Kathy Lee Crosby?
You guys don't know her now, right?
No way, we're young.
I'm barely on the edge.
We're young and
of knowing
vibrant.
her.
How do you know?
Fuck you.
But who is she, seriously?
I know she was on That's Incredible. That's all I know about her.
Bonnie Hunt's old in this movie. She's probably not now,
guess.
mid-30s.
But it is a reference. I don't know. It's such a weird old reference. Like, was this movie written in 1983 that this would be a cromulent thing to say? I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know, but I know that every man in this hotel looks like the 90s. They all have their shaggy hair and their big suits, and it's such a flashback.
I think that part of this movie's charm for me is Italy. You
Of
know,
course.
just seeing the scenes.
It's the excuse to be there, I get that.
Yeah.
They go out of their way to remind you of Roman Holiday, another romantic comedy that
Hey,
took
guys.
place in Italy.
Remember how great that movie was?
So good.
Like this one, please.
She does a really weird Casablanca reference too, where
What's the Casablanca reference?
it's right after she misses the plane. She goes, if I don't get on this plane, I'm going to regret this. She's on the phone with her friend or with her sister-in-law. Maybe not today, maybe not today, but tomorrow and for the rest of my life. But she doesn't say it as though she's positioning it as a quote, like a Casablanca quote. She
And
says
no
it
one
like
says,
dialogue.
That's a nice quote.
And then you don't hear what Bonnie Hunt says, but she responds to it as though like Bonnie Hunt had just responded to that, like it was a line of dialogue. It was really, it was an interesting way to do that.
Do you think Marisa Tomei was familiar with the quote?
Or she just stumbled upon it.
Like, that's a weird thing for me to say, but all right.
Yeah,
I will.
exactly.
Oh, what a shame.
Made the we'll always have Italy thing later on kind of weird.
And then, so they're at the hotel, and oh no, we've found in his trash that he's gone off to Rome. So let's just go to Rome. And concierge, you cannot go to Rome. There is a strike tomorrow.
A one-day strike.
A one-day strike tomorrow. Why can't they go today?
Yeah.
It's 5 hours down to Rome. Why is that not
Did
an
nobody
option?
tell Damon Bradley this? Because he should have stayed in his hotel for more than an hour.
He got on the train. He's doing okay.
Yeah.
And this is the vehicle for them renting the little car and taking an adventure through the countryside.
Where they argue about things.
Petrol.
Liters versus gallons and kilometers versus miles. Which
This
is a
is
scene that,
we're about 30 minutes into the movie. At this point, by the way, no Robert Downey Jr.
that scene right there was like 20 minutes, right? Just them arguing over nothing, lameness. Oh, that was bad. So,
But we did get from that scene, she does actually finally ask her friend about what's going on with her life. That did give us a quiet moment for her to think about someone other than herself.
yeah.
And so we get to hear Bonnie Hunt's sad story, and again, he's cheating on me. But we did learn that he would kill tigers for her.
He would kill tigers for you. What does that even mean?
I don't know. It was
Is
a
that-
pretty badass thing to say. That.
Really? In that quiet, distant, he would kill tigers for you.
I know he would kill tigers for you.
That
They
is
have
the
a-
optimum way to prove love.
A
Fighting
very
sharks. and
strange
killing
relationship in this movie because they're sisters-in-law. Because
Right.
Bonnie Hunt.
Yeah.
is her
But then they were
sister-in-law.
friends. It sounds like they were friends as well.
Yeah.
It just happened my best friend married my brother.
Gross.
But she
Yeah.
does seem older than her.
That was a weird connection to have. Confusing and maybe not necessary. Because we see Marisa Tomei and Fisher Stevens interact once, I think, in the whole movie.
But how else would we get the reveal at the
Yeah,
end?
I think that's why we needed that.
yeah.
Did we... we're getting way ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
Did we need the reveal at the end, though?
I did.
think
I need
it
to
comes
know
around.
why.
It
'Cause I-
completes the story.
I
Just
think
to say
there's
that
another-
fate is BS.
I think there's another layer to that reveal that gets undercut by that reveal. We should just get there when we get there.
I know.
We'll talk about it later.
I hear that.
Oh, it's so
Bookmark.
hard.
So
much to talk
okay.
about.
So meanwhile, Fisher Stevens, the brother, he bursts into Marisa to Dwayne's office while he's doing this matrosectomy, and the guy on the who's getting the matrosectomy done.
It hasn't time passed there.
Yeah,
Probably.
A day.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
because
it's mastectomy.
it's
Yeah.
been they all are concerned
Yeah.
This
because
is
they're
another
not
guy.
around.
Yeah,
So
or something.
But the guy getting the matrosectomy, he's having these huge, broad reactions, like it's a Three's Company thing, and they're making some sort of allusions to them having sex with each other. But all it was like, oh yeah, I think my wife's cheating on me, or I don't know what happened to my wife. And it's just like he's got these wide-eyed Mr. Furley reactions. I'm like, what is this? This is not fit. So
He's
I
trying
don't
to
like
make a meal of his part.
that. I guess so. But it was, and they didn't even need the guy getting the. I'm going to keep saying matrosectomy because I learned that word. It's
Well, they
interesting.
need something for that scene because it's so plot driving awkward. They feel very companionate, like they hang out together. And I
Right,
don't
the
believe,
roofer and the foot doctor.
like they were friends through their wives and fiancés, and I don't believe that they would ever talk to each other.
I agree. But I also don't think that the roofer guy has any friends.
Oh, that's sad. He has those poker friends.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, but
They
they're-
need sandwiches.
Yeah, that's why he has a wife.
you can't have like real meaningful conversations with those guys.
Well, can you have a meaningful conversation with a man, period? You're all very stoic.
I don't
True.
think. I think this movie establishes you don't need to have meaningful conversations with anyone,
Right.
in order to have a connection.
Fair enough.
I'm rolling my eyes at Bobby right now.
So they get to Rome, and Rome is really pretty, you guys. Highly recommend Rome.
So go on.
That's all I got. I was just getting us to Rome.
Oh yeah, so they track him. They track Damon Bradley down to a restaurant where he's at.
Well, first, they track him down to a
a shoes-
Masturatore,
yeah,
where we
shoes-
meet Giovanni.
Yeah,
And Bonnie Hunt and Giovanni should just have sex right now. I really want that to happen
That
for her.
actor reminds me of Stephen Rea. Is that how you say it?
Oh,
Ray?
okay.
A little bit?
I was worried you were going to say Harrison Ford, and that would piss me off.
But he's like his handsome
They don't look
Portugali-
anything alike.
He is really handsome. I think Giovanni's really handsome.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. They
I'm sorry.
should
I'm
have
still
sex
mad. I'm
right
still
away.
mad about Clear and Present Danger when somebody said that he looked like a more ethnic or a more Latin version of Harrison Ford, and that still bothers me.
Stephen
So-
Rea?
Yeah,
That's
the guy,
ridiculous.
the Giovanni guy.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, it was a dumb line in the good movie, but anyway. I
Wait, they
digress.
say it in the movie?
Yeah, Lauren.
I don't remember Claire Princess Danger very
Oh,
well.
you should. It's a good movie. You should
That's
watch
a weird
it.
statement. I don't know about that Jack Ryan guy.
Ugh.
He seems to get into awful lot of scrapes.
Yeah. So you know who else has James Bond?
Yeah, I don't care for those either.
But yeah, Spectre was really bad.
Spectre! Wait, that was the theme song, right?
Sure. Anyway,
Okay, so they meet Giovanni, and Giovanni says he has a place for them to stay.
Sí.
It's like a Is it like a hotel?
Yeah, pensiones are like a cross between bread and breakfast. Bread and breakfast. A bed and
I
breakfast.
could go for some bread and breakfast right now.
That is breakfast in Europe. It's the best. It's just bread. It's amazing.
What's a breakfast, though?
A breakfast is Alison Bechdel when she cooks breakfast for you in the morning.
It's not a concert with just a lot of Beck covers.
She sings Beck while she cooks.
Anyway, and
Are you going to Beckfest this year, Bobby?
I am.
Oh, nice.
Bread and Beckfest.
And you guys, I know she stole her husband's credit card and they probably make very little money, but Bonnie Hunt is paying for everything on this trip. Yeah. I know Marisa Tomei is just a teacher, as we established in her first grown-up scene, but come on, this is your crazy idea. You could shell out a little bit of cash.
Factoring for 20 years of inflation, the number, I forget what the number was. It felt low, right?
Which number?
When,
like $400 that she spent.
Yeah.
But that was one charge. Maybe that was the hotel or something.
Maybe.
Or
Yeah.
But yeah, 400 is still one night in a pension in Rome. Okay, that's
Maybe that's more reasonable.
Maybe that was just lunch.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good lunch.
For $400, it better be a good lunch. Okay. Then what happened?
So she's tracking him down to Damon to this restaurant.
Oh, and I forgot the reaction from the clerk in the store. That was a very big reaction that was never explained. Like we could infer a certain amount.
Wait, what?
Well, so they go into the store that they think Damon Bradley's going to be at because they heard that.
And Giovanni's there, the one store that he translates.
Okay.
Doesn't he say that?
Oh, the blonde girl.
Yeah, there's the blonde girl, and she doesn't speak much English, but then she's like, Damon Bradley. Oh, okay, so proud. Oh, starts weeping, and it's like, no, he's Damon Bradley. Why? ¿Por qué?
We're learning so many interesting things about Damon Bradley that never get paid off.
No. What does
Who
Giovanni
is
say about
this
her?
guy?
I forget. Does it explain?
I think he supposed to meet her for an appointment or something.
Maybe so. And the feeling was like, oh, Damon Bradley is a cad and was gonna meet this lady, but she now thinks that this lady is coming in for him.
Well, and that's why Robert Downey Jr. is so perfect for that role. I mean, like, it fits.
I agree.
He would be perfect for that role.
Yeah. He was going to do some coke, but then he did it all himself. Oh.
Well, do you want Robert Downey Jr. to come in at the very end of the movie? You're already complaining that he comes in more than halfway through the movie.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you don't know what you're saying.
No, I'm saying twist number one negates what we're saying right now.
Yeah.
And I agree that he should have been in way sooner. We could have cut out Journey Through the Countryside. We could have, gotten to him sooner. And then there might have been more logic to them being so very much in love if they spent a little more time together.
I think, like, one fault of romantic comedies of the 90s is that they over-explain scenes. And, well, in romantic comedies in general, like, I think the problem is that they tend to over-explain the little details when they don't really matter. Like take for this movie, the journey to get to Italy and what happens after. And like, I'm thinking of Serendipity and you know how it took them. So they showed every little thing that brought it back, to the present. And
I did have a note that said, this is like Leap Year meets Serendipity.
We definitely saw some Serendipity.
With the dash of my best friend's wedding.
Leap Year.
Yeah. I think a lot of big problem with romantic comedies, and especially like these ones, is they're so focused on the gimmick that they don't really give time for the characters to get to know each other and fall in love. They're so concerned with the comedy part, quote unquote comedy, which is just the gimmick, that they don't pay attention to the romance part as much.
Yeah, and there's a certain amount of like just the facility of like, no, they're in love. Of course, you're in love, and like, I feel like movies don't do that as much. Like we've gotten a little more mature.
Yeah, well, like using love is very much like an older thing. It feels like out of date.
We're so jaded now.
Yeah,
we're such millennials.
Exactly.
But like, really, and that sort of similar with Serendipity, but I think even more on this one. Like just the storyline of the character that believes and like. Not fate even, but just like the soulmate and the gypsy told me and she believes so intensely. Like,
gypsy.
Sweetie, come on. Make a better choice. Don't marry this guy because he's not right for you. Don't.
The gypsy also said something like you have to follow your own
destiny.
Yeah, you make your own.
Yeah, destiny.
Because I think she felt badly, as we will discuss.
Yeah.
But then she's like, sweetie, just, you make your own destiny, okay? Just don't take this thing too seriously.
For whatever.
She's pretty cheap. That's the inflation there. That was how much a gypsy cost in the 80s.
But that's like $1,000 today.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, 1994 was a long time ago, guys. Can we all agree on that?
Guys, how much do Marisa Tomei's students not like her as a teacher? Because again, our first scene, she's really passionately talking about Destinos and the Greeks and Plato. And they're just staring at her fish-eyed and bored.
She's trying to do like Robin Williams and Dead Poets.
Yeah.
But
And you think it's like a quintessential cliche
of movies.
In general.
You think even a couple of like the boys would be drooling over their hot teacher?
That's true.
Yeah, no kidding. and this is certainly not a specific knock against this movie. Has anyone ever had that thing where it, like, in the middle of a lecture, the bell rings and everyone packs up, and then the teacher's shouting the assignments over the bell? Like that
would never fly.
That never happened to me.
You sit down and I tell you your homework first. That was the rule.
Or it's like, oh, class is winding down, so I'm going to tell you your homework.
Yeah.
Awkward. We have 3 more minutes left of class.
Because that is such a get out of homework free card. Just like, oh, I was the first one out.
Come
I
here,
didn't hear
come
it.
here.
Yeah, sorry.
There's like half a dozen people who did not hear the assignment. Yeah, absolutely did not. In this movie or all movies.
Weekend, you know.
Is that what wait, it's Labor Day weekend.
Where the teacher apparently gets off Monday and Tuesday.
Is it Labor Day weekend?
I think so.
How are they in class?
No, it's going into Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, that's how she can go to Italy.
But is it?
Italy.
But don't. Maybe it's a year-round school then.
It was a private school, I think.
So and think maybe they're on the year-round track because normally like we start school after Labor Day.
Did we get
Did we
get the classroom scene before that, or did we get the classroom scene before the engagement announcement with her friends?
The holiday was the class scene was the first scene with her as an adult.
So the class scene was actually before the massive time jump.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it was a private school, though.
Oh gosh, that's true.
Yeah.
So we're just leaving for Labor Day, and now I'm engaged, and now it's 10 days to the wedding.
Wait, what?
No,
Labor Day was when she goes on the trip.
I don't think it was.
But when we see her in class,
because we go straight from the engagement party to her trying on the dress in her apartment, don't we?
And the wedding is 10 days from now.
She leaves the classroom to go have girls' night with her sister-in-law and her forgettable friend.
And we got
and she tells them that she's engaged.
And I have a day to tell them that if I want to say yes or no.
Yeah, right. Which that's a bad sign.
Yeah.
She's never getting divorced.
That is a bad sign.
That's a bad sign.
I think it's supposed to be like you're supposed to.
There's timely. If this is all compacted, then this movie is nuts.
I need a calendar for this movie. I need to understand because she should be going to Italy 7 months after the engagement party at the very least.
Yeah.
Because she does not seem like a person that would be, nor would Dwayne be a let's get married in a whirlwind.
No.
That'd be kind of amazing if there were 11 days between engagement and getting married.
I'm stressed
for a full-on wedding.
About that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And clearly with, the way they're going, it would be a full-on wedding. Like they're all starchy, waspy. Like this would be a full wedding.
Yeah. The dress getting handed down, all that crap.
Oh, that ugly dress.
I'm so glad she didn't ruin it in a fountain. I was so worried.
But she ruined Dwayne's heart by agreeing to be engaged to him in the first place.
I'm convinced that Dwayne is real.
Do you think is Dwayne her Tyler Durden?
If Dwayne hadn't had that scene with Fisher Stevens, I think we could make the argument.
Just an alter ego. No one's ever met Dwayne.
I want to see a movie where
we Bonnie Hunt really interesting.
It's so good.
I want to see a movie where we never find out. We never see Dwayne's reaction, and we seldom do in these romantic comedies. I want to see one where we get a look at the guy after he gets broken up with, and he is just destroyed.
Sleepless in Seattle. Okay. Well, Sleepless in Seattle doesn't have that moment, but I was thinking like Sleepless in Seattle does this so much better. The relationship that's not right and the chasing the kind of magical possibility. And then we get that scene where she does break up with him. And even though he's not, wrecked eating ice cream in a basement, like we still get that moment with
I want that. Actually, I think that would be a good jumping off point for a comedy, for a good comedy.
It's his storyline. Yeah. Oh, well, that's Wedding Singer then.
Oh. No, a good comedy.
How dare you? Oh.
No, but not a romantic comedy. It's no romance at all.
Oh, it's just a straight up comedy? Oh, then it looks like it's going to be Keanu.
Or like a dark comedy.
Because Keanu looks like it starts that way, and Keanu's going to be great.
It does start that
way.
He
names the kitty Keanu. Oh, I'm dating the podcast.
Cheater. You're supposed to be just with me exclusively, you bitch.
Two passions.
Okay,
so we get to the restaurant.
So way back,
let's back up. Yeah, so
way back machine.
They're at the restaurant, and
we see his elbow.
Yeah.
No. They asked,
at this point, 40 minutes into the movie, and still no Robert Downey Jr.
No, they asked the server for Damon Bradley. And like all good servers, He knows all of his customers' names at a restaurant.
We take full names and addresses to our customers.
Yes.
Wait, okay. I just realized something. So Bonnie Hunt is the one who walks over, talks to the server, looks over, sees Damon Bradley.
His elbow.
Does she see? She sees him, right? She's on the other side of the door.
So when Marissa looks, we only see an elbow, and let's believe that that's the case. Like, okay, we know it's that dude sitting at that table, but there's a doorway blocking him. Doesn't cover the fact that he's wearing a tan coat and RDJ is wearing no coat. But
I think he's holding a coat, though.
Yeah.
That was the thing they were focusing on.
Is it the right coloring?
Yeah,
but so let's believe
know.
that maybe it only knows that it's that body there and she doesn't have a good look. Or else this movie will fall apart even more so.
I'll buy it, but I don't buy it.
She should have done her due diligence. She should have done her due diligence as a friend and
We'll take it out in
stroll
post.
by, make sure that he doesn't have,
Warts.
big warts or anything gross. Like, okay, and he's handsome. I
A
will now let my
girlfriend,
friend
a
pursue
wife.
fate. Yeah. Let's do any kind of information on this guy.
I still want to go back to the fact that no server in any restaurant knows their customer's name. Not even first name.
Please, Damon Bradley.
Whatever.
Oh, you should go to Italy. They're insane there.
Really?
Not
They-
that insane.
they
but-
asked for your passport.
No, but seriously though, when I went there, I went back to this restaurant because they had really good pasta. And
In Italy?
yeah.
Okay.
And
If you
and
say
this
so.
guy, the server, it was the same server, and he's like, "Weren't you here before?" Well, of course, in his like really broken English.
Do you know your first
"Weren't
name?
you here
And last
And
name.
last
And he
name?
goes, I have a microchip in here, and like points to his head. It was so creepy, and I was like, okay, I'm
Because
out
you're
of here.
cute. Who's hitting on you?
Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
Likely, yeah.
Microchip sounds delicious.
Mamma mia, I have a microchip.
So yeah, she sees him. She knocks over a waiter who's carrying all the raw fish.
And I don't even see how that tray knock happens.
I don't
It
either.
doesn't look physically
That is a
possible.
horrible
She
waiter
like
to
breathes
that.
on him and he drops the tray in a comedic fashion. And in the chaos, Damon Bradley gets away. Much like this kitty is getting away from the cord.
Yes, we have a cat sitting on our
Bobby is.
My cord tastes the
Something.
best.
yeah.
Or it tastes like
Okay.
tuna.
Bobby's like,
Or lasagna, depending on...
Push it toward the allergic one. That's the way I do it. Yeah.
No, that's the orange cat who likes lasagna
Okay.
and hates Mondays. Okay.
yeah, and so anyway, Marisa Tomei runs out of the restaurant, knocks over the tray, the seafood
I
tray.
can't walk 10 feet in high heels, and she is running on cobblestones in big.
Have
fancy
you
high
seen
heels.
Jurassic World?
How did she do that?
It's quite easy, apparently. Anyway,
And Bryce Dallas Howard said she'd never even really worn heels before. She learned how to do that. That's insane. I'm mad.
it's unforgivable.
I'm a bad girl.
Okay, I think we got to rush this. A little
All right. Sorry. There's so
Much like this movie.
she loses her shoe, and thank goodness a shoe salesman catches it and runs after her, speaking great Italian. And
yeah.
they meet.
That he's learned in 3 days.
That he's
Yeah.
learned in 3 days.
From
Someone
a
gave him
from a phrase book.
yesterday,
Yeah.
and he has excellent Italian. So he runs after her, has a Cinderella moment, putting it back on her shoe, while she has no interest in the handsome man who has the same haircut as her. It's very romantic.
I didn't catch that.
But he looks at her and is instantly in love.
Yeah.
And she's very pretty.
And of course, he turns out to be Damon Bradley.
Right.
Yeah.
Because she's not giving him a single moment. She's just
No.
rush, gotta find him, ignore a gorgeous man helping me out.
And they made a point to show that, like, oh, he doesn't have a jacket on. He's holding it over his shoulder. She couldn't have put two together, like, oh, this might be the guy that I saw.
Faith is not well, guys. I don't...
But she, as soon as she hears it, faints dead away.
Yeah.
There's all that running
In the heels.
in her dress that she didn't have the guts to wear.
Yeah.
And then they stroll. And they stroll through Rome.
And they fall in love.
And as they're strolling, it seems like they share
Oh.
very few personal facts.
But it does do something interesting at the end of their evening. They are hardcore making out, and
They
Yeah.
are disgusting.
and she goes, "Oh, I have to tell you something." And so she tells him that she's engaged, and then he goes, "Oh," like he's going back and forth of like, what
He's not.
Dwayne?
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah, he's clearly taken aback by this and
Yeah.
bothered by it for about 3 minutes.
and then
Which is inconsistent with him for the rest of the movie.
then he wants to tell her something, but he's not sure he's going to tell her, and then he lets it slip that he's not Damon Bradley.
Right mid-makeouts. Like, not even like I need to tell you something, but please remember what a great night we've had, and I want you to consider this. Just like, I'm kissing you on the bed. Oh, P.S. I'm not Damon Bradley.
Yes.
He handled that poorly.
He did.
Is my opinion.
Should we take a phone break?
Hello.
Taking a phone break.
Oh gosh, she's going to talk. She's gonna
We
talk
can't take
loudly.
that long of a phone break.
Are we talking about Lauren?
Yeah, I like to talk on the phone.
Taking a phone break.
And then they take an amazing scene from a wonderful movie.
That's before.
And I know, but I just want to get back to it because it makes me sad. And then they make it weird.
The score ramps up like,
Awkward.
get scared because their hands are about to get bit.
Because they're both
right?
liars at the mouth of truth. And also,
Which would have been amazing.
and also, if you're a 13-year-old girl watching this movie who's not
Or
really Goyle. Oh, that's right. We're from Pittsburgh. All right. If you're a 13-year-old Goyle who's watching this movie for
Can
the
I get
first
some
time.
water ice?
And you're criminally unfamiliar with Gregory Peck, the weird voice that they're putting on in the scene is very confusing. Why are they talking like that? This is weird. This is not romantic. Stop it. What's happening?
Yeah. So, okay. So he
I got that scene as them just like having the same sense of humor. I mean, like,
It was a cutesy. Like, I get why they're doing it, but it's like, yeah, nice try, movie. It's much cuter in Rowan Holiday.
So, okay, Robert Downey Jr. finds out she's engaged. He's bothered by it for a minute, and then he's like, oh, okay, whatever. I can work with this.
Well, because
You're hot enough.
He realizes that if this is what she's doing 10 days before her wedding, that, well, that's not serious. Okay, good. I've still got a chance.
I guess. But now, then can we get into the topic of she's not a good person?
We can start that up.
Much
We can certainly-
like our friends in Serendipity.
I want to hear why you think she's not a good person.
This is fun. We're having a debate trying to
Because
decide who
she's
was worse.
10 days away from getting married, and yet she's still going to go on some frivolous thing to try to find her soulmate.
And doesn't consider how ill-advised the reality of just having a name is. Like, you don't know anything about what this
Yeah,
person will be like.
yeah.
This is not a practical way to live your life.
I'm going to make an assertion here. I think this movie would have been much better if she was not engaged at all. I think it still could have worked.
Yeah.
That she was just some girl, maybe she'd kind of given up on fate, and she all of a sudden hears somebody, I don't know, wrong number or something, she finds a Damon Bradley and then tracks him down. Then the movie begins.
But then what are the stakes?
But what are the stakes?
No, I'm totally kidding.
Okay, good. I was like, but what are the stakes with the engagement? Because that
I was
is not happening.
I was seriously had a moment like, you're right, what are the stakes? And then I'm like, wait, what are the stakes now? Oh no, she's not going to
True
marry
love
this
are the
guy she's
stakes.
clearly not really in love with.
Poor Dwayne.
Whereas I felt really bad for the significant others in Serendipity, Dr. Wayne is so not even a thing in this movie that
I think you have to be a sentient being to feel bad for
could
And,
not
like-
have cared less. But she's not well, right? Like she's obsessive and totally
definitely.
just like not healthy.
Not entirely healthy. It ruins her friend's trip to Italy by being told to brag about everything.
This was her trip to Italy.
This
the
is
friend was just
her
along for the
event.
ride.
It's her first time in Italy. She's
foot in
never
the
going to be able
bill.
to afford to do it again. She'll pay for everything. Yeah, she's not nice.
No.
Like, I don't know. I think I side with the Serendipity people more than this one, because at least they'd actually met their fatey people
and I thought
and kind of could
Serendipity were
let
the
that
worst.
go.
I thought they were worse.
That's interesting.
I don't
I disagree.
Serendipity, I think those guys were bad people. I don't think they. I mean, I think they're the poor decisions on their part come from deliberate decisions and kind of jadedness, and I think she's just insane.
She's convinced this is just mentally.
yeah, yeah.
That's fair.
Well, then things really work out well for her. I'm glad that this is a light in the piazza movie for her.
Do they really?
And she does just fine.
I think in the
Should
movie,
we just go all on the table with the spoilers and then start talking about the movie as a whole? Because we are halfway through this movie.
I think we have to.
Well, I mean, in answer to your question about, like her not being a good person, I think that the movie, like the stakes of being engaged, it's to show, maybe not in the best way, but I think it's to show how she's not really sure about her choices in life so far. Like it's really trying to
Then you don't
drive
get
the point
engaged.
home that she's not certain about her life, and then this kind of like sent into a tailspin, and she's trying to.
And that's certainly a movie, but I feel bad for then Dwayne as being a nothing character, because we see that in other movies,
right?
Where like the character has made the good choices and let go of like that romantic ideal that doesn't exist, and making like a good practical choice with a good practical man, and then like being swept away by the hope of like romance and magic again. And like we've seen that done better, and this movie sadly lacks it. Like if Dwayne's going to be there, I feel bad that he's so absolutely nothing. Like he's the shorthand.
Yeah, I forgot about him when I rewatched it. I'm like, oh yeah,
like,
that's in
she's
it.
Still carrying around the dress. That's right. FedEx that back. Okay.
The first movie I've seen to use this trope that doesn't have the obligatory like breaking it off with the fiance scene, and instead just has her telegraph it at the end. Yeah. Just like
send him a telegram real fast.
That sucks. Oh well,
real short because these are expensive.
And he doesn't have a personality, so who cares?
Well, he won't mind. Western Union that shit.
So should we go straight to it?
Okay.
Yeah.
So who wants to? You want to go, Bobby?
Okay, yeah, if we're just going in fast forward, so we find out that he's not Damon Bradley.
Yes.
He's a total creep. Really.
But he's a charismatic creep, so that makes it okay.
Yeah. And so he goes out of his way to, she's jaded. She's like, we got to go home. Bonnie Hunt's like, I'm gonna bone this guy, and she's like, no, too bad. We're going to go home.
Yeah.
You're not listening to me.
Sexy leather skirt. Let her bone this guy. She rocks it. And also, I like Robert Downey Jr.'s monologue when he's trying to appeal to Bonnie Hunt. Also, they should have sex after that scene too. But like when he's appealing and explaining himself, like that was a great explanation. You seem like a frantic, romantic, but really charismatic guy. Like this is good.
And a good match for Crazy Her.
Good match for Crazy.
Yeah.
Who he knows that this is crazy. He's absolutely aware that she has mental problems.
But she's hot.
So in
am I
love.
right?
I wish they could have done a little Before Sunset with their walk around Rome. Like if we could have just a little bit of us.
I wrote down Before Sunrise for Dummies.
Before Sunrise. Yes, thank you. The happier one, not the sadder one.
Okay.
But yeah, something like this, just a little like, oh my gosh, we have a lot in common, and like this is great, and solidifying more than just our sheer attraction.
Yeah. Okay.
Or serendipity. I mean, like, I ended up not being a big fan of that movie, but like their connection at the beginning felt more earned than this one. Anyway, so he makes it up to her by looking up Damon Bradley. They go on a road trip. Our two leads and their would be others. I don't even know what the other two are at this point.
Yeah.
Well, because Robert Downey Jr. says that he's found Damon Bradley and it's like Positano. Yeah.
And he goes, I'll go along with you. And no one goes like, ew, no.
And then Giovanni goes with him.
Because
he has the car.
Yeah. And
he's still trying to.
And they're going to have sex.
Yeah.
And then so we meet Damon Bradley, who is Billy Zane, who is positioned to be this.
Done. All you have to say is Billy Zane. We get
It's
it.
Billy Zane.
I have a question. Do you guys think of a disgusting person when you think of Billy Zane?
Certainly not a good person.
Like, he is not an unattractive man, but is so often plays the unattractive characters that, I hear Billy Zane, I'm like, ew.
You're like, ew, sleazy. But then every single one of our main characters has a reaction to Billy Zane going like, whoa.
Look at that hair.
He's got a hot body.
Yeah.
He's not unattractive.
That
He
pool he was in
practically
was
has roofies falling out of his pocket. Like, I don't.
But if you were a scrawny little white Robert Downey Jr., like if there's going to be a man that you're going to be intimidated by, it would be this guy. But why he's intimidated by this guy becomes a questionable when later information comes out.
That pool he was in was actually dry before the women arrived and saw him.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, it's Billy Zane doing Steven Tyler. Did anyone get that?
His hair is resplendent.
Totally Steven Tyler.
Also, she comes up to two men. Like, first there's a gross guy lounging around, and she like, excuse me.
To her credit,
Crotch guy?
To her credit, she was going to be like,
She's
okay,
gonna do it.
this
That's
is my fate.
Thank goodness. I appreciate that. But he's like, you're blocking my light. And then she goes up to Billy Zane, and Billy Zane's like, what? Oh, yeah, hey. Like, this is a gorgeous woman, like, coming up to either of you. You should at least pay a little bit of attention.
But he had a good reason for playing hard to get.
Of course.
He was being paid.
What?
In the double spoiler, what is it? The reveal. The double reveal.
Turn.
Yeah. RDJ hired Billy Zane to be this creeper.
And he was a creeper.
And he did a good job. Yeah. He earned his money.
That's kind of a fun twist. If not terrifying.
And the real bummer
awkward.
is that Bonnie Hunt is totally about to bone her gentleman.
Oh,
Like, it's happening. It's so on. And then this happens, and she whisks her sister-in-law away.
No,
and is like,
she doesn't. They have that scene with Gio.
Do they?
Yeah, and she tells him no.
Oh, yeah,
She makes
yeah,
her
she
choice.
does.
She
She
says,
does.
"I'm
She
married."
does.
All the way along through, like, as Giovanni is becoming more aggressive to her. Not aggressive, because I mean, like, he's charming, I
They,
guess.
like, actually kiss, though.
Yeah,
they
but I mean,
do.
she's so like, oh, whatever her husband's
The whole
name
time
is.
we
she has been
haven't-
saying she's married.
Fisher
We haven't brought up
Stevens.
that Fisher Stevens has had his own little journey
Yeah.
separately,
Oh.
where he does a 180 and
Oh,
is
yeah.
suddenly, like, really concerned about the whereabouts of his wife.
He finds out she's in
that's
Italy.
fun.
Italy.
And,
Italy. What she's doing in Italy?
and
Where the hell's Italy?
Yeah. Yeah.
and grabs a cab to Italy.
Because they
yeah.
can both afford 2 last-minute plane tickets to Italy on a roofing contractor's salary.
Where they can't even, where they're, the
Well, maybe she has a job
sorry.
too.
Maybe that's true.
I mean, we don't really
we don't get to
know.
hear about her
Yeah.
life beyond her husband
Because it doesn't have to do with men. Who cares?
or Marisa Tomei. And she has 2 kids. I don't know. She
So-
feels stay-at-homey.
Yeah. So, okay, yeah. Fisher Stevens finds out. We'll backburner that for a second.
Okay, so we've unpacked most of it, and I feel like it's just sitting on the floor in a big pile. I don't know where to go from here. Like, what do we want to talk about next?
I don't know either. Oh, I know there's one thing I want to talk about, which is that they go to some boat party at Billy Zane and Faith.
Starts groping her.
And never get on a boat with Billy Zane. I've seen
Don't do
Titanic and Dead Calm.
Don't do it.
Never get on a boat with Billy Zane.
He's
That's
gonna
bad.
murder you
Yeah.
if he doesn't get murdered first.
So yeah, then he feels her tits, which of course,
Which are pert. It is very cold in this movie.
She's wearing the nipple dress.
Not everyone's wearing
There's-
Bonnie
there's-
Hunt's
yeah.
also
I
very
saw some Bonnie
nipply.
Hunt nipples.
It's
Yeah.
like George Lucas directed this movie, guys. And they made it extra cold in what is
Fast-
ostensibly August.
faster
in
and more nipply.
Italy.
Yeah. So then that's the reveal
That's real.
that
They leave.
Billy Zane's a creeper.
Marissa
they
Tomei
leave.
says she doesn't believe in the stars or the moon anymore.
Stuff
Bonnie Hunt's,
happens.
really? You're not going to believe in the stars or the moon anymore?
Fisher
Those
Stevens.
are pretty solid.
Yeah.
Those are pretty believable.
Fisher Stevens comes back, and now he's the. Not only does he do the 180, but like Bonnie Hunt is like, oh, you came to Italy? All's forgiven.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's a big gesture and not weird.
Didn't even apologize. He just said, hey, I'm here in Italy and I miss you. Okay.
It's sort of a gesture. It's like, all right, that's something.
It's a start.
If you want to build your marriage back up, I guess it's a start.
And
Then maybe they stay there for like a week and neglect their children and they recharge their marriage.
Okay. And then there's Lauren's favorite scene.
Where Giovanni and RDJ have sex. That's
No,
what I
and
wanted
it's-
to have.
no,
A
no,
good 20 minutes
Someone
of this
have
runtime.
sex with
Not-
Giovanni.
Not in the subtext,
Please.
the actual text of the movie.
Oh, okay, all right. Oh, I want it so bad. Billy Zane?
Do you guys, should I be worried about this?
No, I don't want to have sex with Giovanni. I just
guy?
want someone to have sex with Giovanni.
Oh, he's getting sex.
Okay, good.
I guarantee you.
That night, probably. Okay, we still have the end. Okay,
Oh
so
my
what
God.
happens?
This movie.
The beginning.
It's
So-
not that long. You guys are dragging it out.
So we drive the 3 hours back to Rome.
And Robert Downey Jr. wanders off and gets hit by a car, as should happen.
Well, coked up. And on alcohol.
We've established that Bobby's not
And
funny,
then-
so.
4 spirits follow him around. And guys, that's a great movie. We should watch Heart and Souls next. Anyway, and so we're at the airport, fortunately, that tells you the city that you're leaving from as well as the city you're going to on each gate exit. So we can see that we're in Rome.
Yeah.
And you saw that? That was strange.
Yeah.
And then, fortunately, they're both at the same airport, getting onto their different flights.
We get that reveal we were talking about earlier. Before that, though, right? The truth behind the Ouija board.
Oh,
yeah.
We sort of go, did we cover that even? Oh, it's a big
No, we
deal.
have- oh,
yeah,
no.
so before that scene with Bonnie Hunt and Fisher Stevens sitting down to Biscotti in Positano, what does he say?
Oh, but he was moving the Ouija board around, so he spelled out Damon Little.
First he says, I'm David Bradley, which
yeah.
comes back to that sex scene at the beginning that I was talking about.
It gets real dark. Real dark.
Sleepaway Camp. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh,
Anyway, yeah, and then also he paid off the fortune teller to tell the name Damon Bradley
$2.
for $2.
She's a cheap fortune teller.
Yeah, she's awful. And if she feels guilty enough to say, honey, just to make your own fate, I think she should feel guilty enough to give back the $2 too.
Although I suspect she should feel guilty about all her fortune telling.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
what she
true.
says. Like, this isn't real, please.
Yeah,
God, don't be
exactly.
stupid. You're a sweet girl. Don't be stupid.
Why are you so stupid? Stupid. Okay.
So they're at the airport.
Yes.
He's on a flight to Boston. She's on a flight to Pittsburgh. apparently the Rome flies direct to both. They're never going to see each other again. When Damon Bradley is paged, and they all run to the information desk.
Yeah.
You forgot about that? That's huge.
I was thinking of the scene after that when they're trying to get on the airport. Okay.
But, and so
the real kicker is they meet in front of Damon Bradley's back. Like, they meet behind him. I guess that's one way to say it. In front of his back.
In front of his back. And then there's another 20 minutes of eyebrow work.
And then she taps Damon Bradley, and he is not
a hunk.
And she's just like, oh shit, what have I done?
When she asks about him, I mean, it's not like she automatically dismisses him, but I think like...
Oh, there's a beat of like, whoops. Which, if you've spent the better part of your adult life going after Damon Bradley, surely you must
I mean, he's a lot older than she is, too. Mm-hmm. And she asks him, like, oh yeah, so you're Damon Bradley. And
he would be about the same age as her fiance, right? Because they were high school buddies?
Is this even the same? Now, this comes down to...
No, it's her brother.
And this comes down to...
Her brother was buddies with him. He was in the same Little League team.
No. But the original...
The Damon Bradley that was going to Venice and then...
The one she's been chasing was high school friends with her
brother.
Fiance.
No, it's not her.
The name Damon Bradley came from her brother's classmate, but the Damon Bradley who calls her apartment was high school buddies with her fiance.
Are these two different Damon Bradleys, are you suggesting?
No, it's the
same
one,
universe has
right?
two Damon Bradleys.
Yeah, I believe that there are at least two, which is ridiculous because there must be so many Damon Bradleys
There's
in the world.
childhood Damon Bradley who Fisher Stevens gets the name from.
It's not the same one?
And then later on, Damon Bradley calls her apartment. And
right,
says,
I thought it was the same
I'm
one.
looking for Dr. So-and-so.
Yeah,
and then he said, who are you? And he goes, I'm a high school buddy
Are
of
they
his.
all high school buddies? Did
Yeah.
they all go to the
Damon
same high
Bradley
school?
was a junior high buddy, and not even a buddy because he was a jerk to Fisher Stevens.
She did.
Okay, but
she's not buddy. She's not like old friends with her fiance.
But then,
No.
I mean,
imagine that
what
these were
if,
two different men.
Oh,
Ay.
I always
because one's connected to Fisher Stevens and one is connected to Foot Doctor Wayne.
And also, there are so many Damon Bradleys in the world.
Are there 3 Damon Bradleys in this
there are
movie?
like 10 Damon Bradleys in the world. It's not a lot.
Okay, so the guy in the movie, the airport, is he the same Damon Bradley who called? That seems like
we don't even know that. We don't even know that.
That seems to be too much of a coincidence.
Okay, it's a coincidence, but we don't know that. It could be different.
But honestly, though, by rom-com logic or by even movie logic, like I don't think that's too much of a coincidence. She's been chasing a Damon Bradley around.
Oh
wait, she's in a.
No, that's what I'm saying.
They moved.
We're back
though,
in
right?
Rome.
No, they moved. They're back in Rome. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be too much of a coincidence. I'm saying if it worked.
Would it
the same
be?
day.
Oh yeah.
I think the argument is that there are tons of Damon Bradleys in the world, and this is a stupid plan.
That's like the John Smith of their universe.
Exactly. Do you know how many Harry Potters there are that predate the book?
I don't know. I still think that Damon Bradley is the one and the same of her.
But then, okay, so did Dr. Wayne, Fisher Stevens, Bonnie Hunt, and Marisa Tomei?
They didn't. They seemed really chummy. I mean, her brother went into her fiance's office and acted like they were friends.
But then wouldn't calling, saying he's going to miss the wedding guy have been like, oh, hi, you probably don't remember me. I was friends with your brother, and I'm friends with your fiance.
But she didn't know because they were on the same Little League team, and then he said that they weren't friends. He was just on the same Little League team.
But you think it's the same guy?
I do. I always thought it was the same one. I thought there was one.
I think there must be tons of Damon Bradleys around.
In the greater Pittsburgh metropolitan area?
I think in the world of this movie, there are 2 Damon Bradleys.
I think there's one.
We meet one and we
look at this guy.
Get a reference to
created a conflict in this movie.
I will say, just looking at the ages, the guy who played Damon Bradley was born in 1950, and who was the other? The brother was Fisher Stevens.
Right there.
Fisher Stevens was born in
1963.
1963.
And we know that they always cast based on birth dates.
The same.
They want
he's the same
actors.
age as Dwayne, you brat.
They want them to be exactly.
There's a 13-year difference.
You can't have an actor playing younger or older than their real age.
But they also could have been. There's a lot of fraud in Little League too, when it's more competitive.
But I mean, they play other teams in
17,
Little League.
30.
It's not always the same age. They're
usually not a 13-year difference. That's pushing it.
But I mean, in movie world, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
So
anyway,
this is kind of a fun. I do like romantic comedy climaxes, and so as he's like, Robert Downey Jr. is talking to Damon Bradley like, "You are so in luck. This woman has been waiting for you. You're fated to be together. It sucks. I'm in love with her, but good luck." And he goes away mad, and it's sad. And then Marisa Tomei loses her hearing because Damon Bradley has to ask her 3 times if she's in love with Robert Downey Jr.
Okay, see, that's where I forgot up until now, even though it just happened, that Fisher Stevens had rigged the fortune telling thing.
Oh, that's huge.
But so I took that scene to mean, because the fortune teller's wording at the beginning had been like, Damon Bradley. It wasn't Damon Bradley will be your soulmate with the fortune teller. It was like Damon Bradley will be important.
Yeah.
This is something you put
And
in.
so I was
And
like,
so it's
oh,
true.
that's how Damon Bradley is going to be important.
Yeah.
And that's
But
why
no.
that's why I think the Fisher Stevens actually rigging Damon Bradley thing undercuts that finale. Because I'm like, oh, it's kind of neat to think that there's mysticism in this.
And that is neat, but then they don't hit that well enough. Like, if that is what we're arguing, like, yeah, he rigged it, but this was huge, and like, she was still right.
So Bonnie Hunt knew about the Damon Bradley thing before, because she's like, as soon as she said the name, she's like, oh my god, it's that guy you've been talking about. Did Fisher Stevens know about it? Because he's an asshole if he didn't say something years ago.
Probably not. Or maybe she
not.
dropped it when she
Yeah,
became
I
a
didn't think
practical
that they
grown-up.
were going out when they were younger, so I think it was like probably
Okay.
something.
Okay. I'll let it go.
Yeah.
Like, she never told anyone what happened with the gypsy except her best friends. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
And then she didn't think about it for several years until she heard the name Damon Bradley,
Okay.
presumably.
I'm going to allow it.
So she does love him,
Yeah.
I guess. Like, he's really cute.
For some reason.
But I'm not sure who I'm
You know what,
confused.
Bobby? You need to stop it.
But
Because
I
you know what? Robert Downey Jr. is the best. And you
Okay.
need to just walk
It's
out
I'm
not
not
there.
arguing.
Robert
He's very
Downey
charming.
Jr. is a great guy.
We are all in love
Peter
with Robert Downey
Wright,
Jr.
on the
Peter
other
Wright.
hand.
I make the argument, like, who is weirder for being in love with the other? I can't decide who is more wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, not that they couldn't be someday, but based on what we have as our information,
They're both
you're both
obsessive to an unhealthy
weird.
level.
He is a liar who will do what it takes to get his way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not good.
No.
She's crazy and insensitive and will
That's-
do whatever she wants.
Yeah, they're made for each other,
They
guys.
are. So she runs to his plane and she's like, no, I have to get on the plane. My true love is on the plane. And it's Italy, so they understand.
Hey, of course, it's your amore.
Because when she
Yes,
tried
sir.
that in Pittsburgh, when she was going after Damon Bradley, they were like, no, you don't have
Yeah.
a ticket. Go away. How did you even get through the hour and a half of security? And too soon, I know. But then it's
forget.
Italy. They understand the love. Please let her on the plane. And she gets in there. And then she should have immediately not been in love with him because he is rude and has put his socked feet up on the seat in front of him.
That was
It's
pretty
business
rude.
class.
I thought it is not business class. And that is even less acceptable in business
He doesn't
class,
have
I
any
think.
business putting his feet up.
I think if I
Any
were in love
class.
with you, Sam, and I chased you onto a plane and had a big moment and then saw that you had done a thing like that, I would rethink it.
What do you mean if you were
To
in love
Robert
with me?
Downey
I-
Jr.'s credit, though, like, for a second when I saw him doing that, I'm like, damn it, he's so cool.
Oh yeah, he's so cool. His red socks, sitting up on that clean headdress, like, fucking, you just don't give a shit. It's hot. But also it's awful and rude.
Yeah.
So they end up dysfunctionally ever after.
It's the least rude thing he did in this whole movie, by the way.
That's
though.
true, yeah.
I don't know about that. It's pretty gross to put your socked feet on someone else's chair. Mm-hmm. It's pretty awful.
Better than your bare feet.
Barely.
Whoa.
Barely.
Way better.
Barely.
I cannot
So
wait until you guys go on a plane and Sam puts his socks on the seat in front
Also,
of you.
he's very limber. Sam could
Yeah.
not do that.
No. He's like Melissa McCarthy level limber. So, okay, was there anything else, or can we go straight to the Michael Bolton closing credits? Michael Bolton sings over the closing credits. Oh,
Because it's the 90s.
yeah, that was painful.
Remember when Michael Bolton? Remember when, guys?
Anything
He's
else?
a cinephile. Have you guys seen the
Jack Sparrow.
Jack Sparrow?
The Lonely Island video, Jack Sparrow.
No.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. Wait till we show it to you.
Anyway, okay, so does that cover it for the movie? That was a long one, guys.
We have lots to unpack. This
Oh,
is
yeah,
a big deal.
And Robert Downey Jr. just showed up.
And there's Robert Downey Jr. Okay, in credits. Okay, do you want to do a quick Bobby and Laura discuss gender politics in the movie we just saw?
Sure.
I got the eye of the tiger.
Susan B. Anthony was on the dollar coin for a reason.
Stop objectifying me.
Gloria Steinem.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Equal rights amendment was never ratified.
Rosie the Riveter.
Oh my God, Bobby, shut up.
Rosie the Robot.
Who's gonna make me my sandwich?
My body, my choice.
Blatant.
Blatant.
Susan B. Anthony was taken off the dollar for a reason.
Beyonce.
Go for it.
Bobby can start.
Okay, we touched on the Bechdel test, which I wrote down, which I think might be just a conceit of a lot of romantic comedies. But so a thing a thing I really just wish would happen, and I think needed to happen, is I really just want Faith to love herself, man. I want her to be comfortable with herself. And it's just like, it never happens, man. She goes from chasing like one man to the next, back to the other man, and it feels like a real bummer. Like, I don't think Faith ever gets to be her own person. She's always chasing other guys.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that's the bummer in a lot of romantic comedies, is that you never get a fully formed female character. It's like they're always chasing that, mysterious person or the elusive person. And so they never have a chance to just figure out who they are. And this movie very much falls into that category. Also, I mean, I think this time watching it, I was more bothered by Bonnie Hunt's character. And like, I totally agree that she was probably a stay-at-home mom. Like, there's something about just her demeanor. Like, she wasn't worried about work, she could just get on the plane with her friend and go to Italy, And so, and Fisher Stephen was such an asshole. I mean, there's just no excuse for that. She should have left him a long time ago. Unfortunately, I don't think females had a really good role in this movie.
Cool. Fortunately, there's not much, but you want to do IDOBM, IMDb Trivia TM?
There was not much, though. It feels like we haven't even earned the TM.
Just mix them up.
Okay. All right. So this movie
So there's one Damon Bradley, right?
It didn't say anything about the trivia. I think 3 or 4 at least.
There's one credited Damon Bradley.
There is one Mr. Right that she ends up with. Because she was searching for
you just bit that.
Mr. Right.
And that might have been in the preview too.
And his name is Peter Wright.
It's literally.
Oh my god. So funny. And then
I changed all my opinions on this movie.
our second fact was originally supposed to be Bridget Fonda in the main role. Does that change your opinion, Sam?
I would like to see. No wonder you kept that for so long. I still have a crush on her.
Really?
Big crush on her. Oh, this movie would have been good.
Oh,
no, I'm just kidding. But I probably would have been on board for it when it first came out.
So all the made up trivia. So initially, Bridget Fonda was supposed to get into a murder pact with Giovanni and kill Fisher Stevens.
Wow.
And take all their money. And they were going to run away to Cinque Terre. Marisa Tomei actually discovered that Peter Wright, besides being a shoe person, is also a Playboy millionaire with a genius for electronics, and they together develop a super suit and they fight crime.
I forgot that we were making shit up. I'm like, this is incredible.
I was watching your face too, and you were like, "What? This is crazy."
This is all true. And they
This is the greatest thing that's ever happened on this podcast.
You forgot the things she said 10 seconds before.
There was a sequel planned where there were going to be an alien invasion, and together they prevent the invasion.
And didn't you also say Robert Downey Jr. was originally going to be played by Woody Allen?
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
That would be real fun.
Oh my God, there's this website called Fun Trivia, and they have trivia about this movie.
Oh man, why
really
really fun trivia?
It's not
Is it
IMDb.
fun?
Yeah, it doesn't fit our initial.
In the beginning of the movie, what game are Faith and Larry playing? What does Faith?
Oh, it's like trivia.
Who does Faith think her soulmate is?
So
what did the fortune teller charge Faith for her destiny reading?
This is nice. It seems we've been paying attention.
How long did
It's like
Faith
pop
want
quiz.
to think about her marriage proposal?
One day.
What does Faith's future mother-in-law give her at the engagement party?
Lovely dress.
Where is the first place Faith travels to in search of her soulmate?
Venezia.
Italy.
There is no such thing as fill in the blank ?
Fate.
Santa.
Or destiny.
Which
We
holiday,
by the way, we're 45 minutes into this trivia and still no Robert Downey Jr.
which holiday weekend does Faith search for her soulmate?
This is very unclear.
Well, Faith
No,
is
that
talking
was
to
clear.
Kate.
That part was very clear.
Faith
Because-
mentions that her flight is due to depart and that they must hurry. At what time is Faith's flight due to depart?
I remember it was
Wow,
Labor Day
that's
weekend, so she didn't have to be back in school until Wednesday. Who has 2 days off for
Well, it's a
Labor Day?
parochial school, so they're weird. But also,
Oh, hey, Sam. According to Kate, which famous person stayed in the Hotel Danieli? And then Kathy Lee Crosby.
Everyone knows. She's super famous.
is it Labor Day the next year? Like, they get engaged on Labor Day and they're going to get married again, like, the weekend after Labor Day. And that's the only way this makes sense.
Maybe.
I'm so angry.
Okay. Let's do, what is it?
It's like they shove that scene where she's it's
okay.
like they shove that scene where she's talking with her friends into the movie. Like some studio note had said, like, we need a scene where they talk about the engagement, totally forgetting that they had established a timeline earlier. And so,
but
like,
even then, the timeline doesn't work.
Oh yeah, because the engagement.
Because there's the engagement, right? And then they're married 10 days later. It still doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you're right.
I
take it back.
All right, let's talk about the movie we wish we'd seen.
Ugh, this movie is crap. I could write a better movie in my sleep.
And now, IDOBM presents the movie we wish we'd seen.
Yeah.
So, Laura, you like this movie, but is there any other aspect of the movie? I won't get into the whole thing. You know what the movie we wish we'd seen was.
I would like to see the version where she is not engaged, actually. I think that's a really good observation. I think that there could be stakes that to be had without her being engaged. The fiancé is kind of a dud and doesn't really have any crucial part in the movie, so.
She almost wasn't engaged. That's how much.
Yeah.
But then she wouldn't have been wearing that dress throughout. Yeah, no. How about you, Bobby?
Okay, so Robert Downey Jr.'s presence in this movie reminds me how, you know, like what the Marvel movies are doing with expanded universes. You're able to really kind of give characters multi-movie arcs. Bear with me, guys. So one of the big complaints we had about this movie was that Dr. Wayne was not a presence in this movie. Totally forgettable. And so I think if this movie shared a movie universe with Serendipity, and instead of Dr. Wayne, we had Lars Hammond from Serendipity as her fiance. And we get, you know, him, several movies with him being turned down by fiancés he's neglecting. It would really do interesting things with his character. And I think John Corbett, you know, really could have shaped that performance over a handful of movies.
Serendipity was 2001.
It came after this. I think it was...
So 7 years. It's only 7
Poor
years.
Lawrence.
Mm-hmm. And so if we had picked up in Serendipity, and, you know, he had been dumped by Marisa Tomei several years earlier.
Maybe he was like a doctor at one point, and then being dumped by Marisa Tomei like made him re-examine his life. He's like, what I really want to do is play the Shania. And so he
really
his
writes
hair.
itself, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
I like it. How about you, Lauren?
I would like to see a version of the movie where our main character is Bonnie Hunt. And it is following her line and her story, and it just happens that she goes on this crazy whirlwind with her insane friend. And just exploring things entirely from her point of view. And like, Marisa Tomei flies in occasionally and then flies back out. And it's all through her. And if she had a more well-rounded experience as the beleaguered wife, I think that'd be a fun movie.
I like that.
And then she'd have sex with Giovanni.
Yeah. As for me, I would like to see, Robert Downey Jr. in high school was this totally invisible nothing guy. He went to high school with Faith. She didn't know him. Like I said, he was totally invisible, but he got a hold of this thing, this Damon Bradley thing, and he's been holding it onto it for all these years, just stewing, just getting more, what's the word? Oh shoot. I can't think of the word. Yeah, well, obsessed isn't part of it, and just like dark. And so anyway, he hears she's engaged, so that's when he calls and he says, it's like, oh yeah, I'm Damon Bradley, I can't be there, I'm going to be in Italy. And so she runs off to Italy, they do this whole cat and mouse thing, he finally catches her, throws her in her sex dungeon, and it becomes this really cool, sex thriller, and that's the movie I want to see. I think that'd be awesome.
You just really have to change a couple of things.
Yeah, it's almost there.
Inside in the sand.
And I actually, when it turned out to be that Damon Bradley was the little league thing, because I thought of this while the movie was on. I'm like, when that was revealed, I'm like, oh yeah, they totally could have done this, but alas, they made the movie they made. So, Laura, you still like this movie?
Yes, I do.
How about you, Bobby? Do you like it?
I don't, but I'm willing to concede that, like, if you're willing to put up with, I mean, a lot of my problems with this movie, I think, are part and parcel with romantic comedies in general, and if you're willing to like overlook some of the tropes, I don't think it's the worst movie. But I think like my biggest problem is there's really no reason to root for these two being together. Like, I don't get their connection. I don't understand why anyone should necessarily give a shit about the two being together. So, I don't know. That's kind of where I stand on it.
Cool. Lauren?
I agree, and I want to like the movie because I do enjoy romantic comedies, and there are things about it that are strong. I feel like a lot of the issues with the script, that a stronger script with this slower plot beats could have been much better, but yeah, I don't like it. And I feel watching it, I was struck by all of the more successful romantic comedies that kind of hit the style that I like Sleepless in Seattle does, sort of the fate and the leaving behind the unsatisfying relationship, and French Kiss gets, it's a great movie that gets like the traveling and the mysterious strangers, and Roman Holiday shows you Rome in such a more romantic light, and so I would recommend watching those movies first.
But we should watch French Kiss because from the part I saw, I was like, oh my god, this movie looks so bad.
I love French Kiss. I'll admit, like, the first time I saw French Kiss, I was like, I don't know about this movie, but oh my gosh, I love it.
What was the other romantic comedy you mentioned in the podcast that, or like just a few minutes?
Heart and Souls.
Heart and Souls, yeah.
Well,
oh
that
my
has
god.
nothing to do with this, but I love Heart and Souls.
Laura, I don't want to watch any more rom-coms because every time we do, Lauren pulls out like 8 other ones that she likes that she's going to inflict upon me.
Heart and Souls is barely a rom-com, though.
Heart and Souls is a good movie, and I do remember watching that. It was a good movie. The other ones are probably good too, but it's like,
it's her son. The cop's her son.
I don't dislike romantic comedies, but I've got a limit. And when they're bad romantic comedies, that like kind of goes over the average. So anyway, yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as Bobby and Lauren, and actually kind of like how I was with Serendipity, where it's not horrible, it's affable enough, but it's not really great. And I don't know, not my cuppa.
Cuppa tea.
Yep, cuppa cappuccino. Do we want to recommend or do things that need no defense, or should we skip that because we've been going so long?
I got a couple.
Oh, okay, go for it.
We'd mentioned the before sunrise, before sunset movies. I'd written those down as kind of like an interesting trilogy of movies about, strangers who meet in a foreign country and get together, and also kind of deal with the aftermath of making rash romantic decisions with strangers in foreign countries. So that's kind of like an interesting recommend.
The third movie broke my heart, though.
Huh?
The third movie broke my heart.
I know. I still don't know how I feel about that third movie.
Yeah, it doesn't feel the same.
The first two are super good, though.
Oh, yeah.
And then also there's another Marisa Tomei romantic comedy called Happy Accidents that I really like, where Vincent D'Onofrio...
Oh, do you mean Serendipity?
What?
Happy Accidents? You mean Serendipity?
Oh, yeah. No, Vincent D'Onofrio plays a guy who claims he is from the future, and he's come back in time to change her life. And so Marisa Tomei kind of does an interesting performance here in this movie that I think would have, like, this movie would have benefited, where the movie calls her on making these toxic choices, to stay with this man who might be from the future, might just be totally insane.
That sounds fun.
But it's a really cool movie, so I recommend that.
Cool. How about you, Laura?
Oh, yeah, I have some good things. Happy Valley is pretty amazing TV show on Netflix. Season 1 and season 2 are both very good. Also, I was thinking about endings, and you guys were saying something about like the last moment of it and how it can end. And I was thinking about this movie and how it does kind of drag a little bit too long. And then I recently saw Hello, My Name is Doris, the movie with Sally Field. The movie is really good, but it has a really good ending too, and it's just like the perfect cutoff point for the movie.
See it all the more.
Oh, cool.
So,
it looks cute.
It's really cute.
Well, I saw Batman vs. Superman not long ago, so I'm going to recommend that everyone check out the new Captain America movie, because it looks like it's going to be really good.
Oh, we didn't mention that. Didn't we mention that this movie is kind of our Civil War episode, because it turns out both leads are in Captain America Civil War?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, well, and if you love Robert Downey Jr., check out Soap Dish. It's like my favorite
Soap
movie.
Dish is great.
Yeah.
But my serious recommendation, I've been playing a lot of Metal Gear Solid 5 lately, and it's really cool, so I'll recommend that. I'm a big fan of all the Metal Gear Solid games, though, so I'm biased.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready to recommend something, Lauren?
Guys, I recommend seeing Hamilton on Broadway.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. What was that? What's that, Lauren?
I strongly recommend seeing Hamilton the musical on Broadway.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have $1,000 for tickets so we can?
That's the
I'll
thing
go to
that
my
I did.
local ticket vendor.
And it was a really good choice. So yeah, y'all should do that. Super easy.
Well, if you like live theater, I'm going to go straight into plugs and say that the Upperclassmen's show, we're doing a show May 1st at the Long Beach Playhouse, 7 o'clock.
No one's putting a plastic bag on their head this show, are they?
I hope not.
Because it's a drunk show, and you guys make bad choices.
I don't know that it's officially a drunk show right now.
Is it not officially?
I don't know. All our shows are kind of unofficially drunk shows now. But anyone else have anything to plug?
Yeah, we have a website, idobmpodcast.com. And it has all of our episodes. So please check it out. And then also follow us, IDOBM podcast, on Twitter. And then we're on Facebook too.
The website looks really cool, Bobby. Good work.
Thank you.
I don't know how you did it.
Magic.
Also, we, I think, all have Instagram accounts too, individually.
That's a good point.
So if you
want
guys
to look at my
follow.
vacation photos.
Oh, you mean when you went to New York and saw Hamilton without your husband? Oh, I don't know why I put up with you.
You guys, it's been rough lately.
Yeah, so check us out. Any final words, guys, for this super, what is it? What do they call it? Damn it. Why can't I think of the word?
Romantic comedy.
No. Supersized episode.
Supersized.
How long did we go?
We are at 121 right now.
Oh, I hate when podcasts go that long. I'm ashamed of us. And now you can't edit anything because you just said what time we went to.
Yeah. No, if it's shorter, then we've edited it.
I'm just going to say 125 over and over and over again right now.
Vote Trump.
Oh,
there was something I wanted to go out on, but I can't remember what. Anyway.
Buonasera.
Buenas aires, everybody. Good night. Thank you for listening. Good day whenever you're listening. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, gang.
Vote Bernie Sanders, June 7th.
It's not gonna happen, Laura.
Jimmy Cuba.
Feel the burn.
I'm really sorry.
Feel the burn.
That's syphilis.